Hey everyone, welcome back to The Word on the Street. Here, my name is Chloe. I'm your host today, and I'm here with Adrian.
Hello.
And Kokin.
What's good?
All right, so today we're going to be discussing social media addiction. So before we discuss, do you guys want to confess anything? Do you think you have a bit of social media addiction at all? Would you say you're addicted?
Personally, I would say I'm not. Does YouTube count as social media?
Yes, YouTube is social media.
I do spend quite a bit of time on YouTube, and but I wouldn't call it an addiction. I control myself.
Do you?
Control myself.
Okay. Yeah. How about you?
I'd have to say like roughly the sim thing. I mean, I wouldn't like class myself as being addicted or anything. I reckon I could definitely last without social media, but it's just it makes everything easier. Just I don't know.
Just enjoy using it.
Yeah.
Okay, so so I'm assuming you guys do have a bit of social media: YouTube, Reddit, LinkedIn. For those that use LinkedIn.
What's
LinkedIn? LinkedIn is like the professional Instagram almost, and all the other Facebook. Obviously, like we all have Snapchat, we have TikTok, all the whole lot. So before we start, I wanted us to play a game.
Okay.
And the game is called Never Have I Ever. All right?
Sure.
So be honest, okay? So the first one is, never have I ever closed a social media app and opened it up again 5 minutes later. So you get your phone, you're on Instagram, you close it, put your phone down, 5 minutes later you're like...
That's a big range.
Have you guys done it?
I have. Yeah,
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, next one. Never have I ever deleted a post off my profile because it got less likes and no comments.
Trick of that is don't post anything. So you never have to delete anything if you don't post.
You don't have social media where you have to post stuff.
Nah, I don't have one where you have to post.
Has that happened to you?
No, I don't think so.
It has happened.
You haven't even put it to hidden.
Archive. No?
I don't know, maybe like a couple of years maybe after you think maybe it's not like, I don't know.
It's not representing you.
Yeah, I don't know, just not the same as me, so yeah, just...
Well, I've deleted posts because of that, so don't judge. Okay, next one. Never have I ever unfollowed someone because they did not follow me back.
Yeah, I've done that.
I don't have any... Well, Facebook, I guess. I used to... if someone didn't follow you back or add you, you just kind of like remove. So that's not Facebook. That's not how Facebook works, is it?
Facebook, you can delete someone or block them off Facebook. Yeah, which is fine, yeah. So the last one is, never have I ever stalked anyone on social media.
That's a standout. Everyone stalks. That's what social media is there.
Yeah, everyone stalks on social media. It's such a normal thing to do. Yeah, so
hitting quite deep.
You don't know someone, you start scrolling until you find out as much as you can.
Before you find out what their grandmother's name is, where they grew up, all this sort of things. Yeah, I mean, we all kind of stalk on socials. Yeah. All right. So, what do you think is the most common used social media?
So currently now, isn't it like TikTok and Instagram? I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're popular within the young group of people.
I think the older people use Facebook.
Yeah.
That's why everyone. I don't know who uses MySpace anymore.
People's coming back, so yeah. But actually, Facebook is still at the top of the range with 2.3 billion users using people on Facebook.
I should have bought some Facebook stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Facebook is still actually right at the top right now, with even the number growing more and more constantly on a daily basis. So seeing as our talk today is on social media addiction, what do you guys think social media addiction actually is?
I would say social media addiction. I think it's when you're spending so much time on social media. So basically it's kind of before, that thing when you say, oh, I'm going to bed now. And then you spend like another 2 hours on your phone just scrolling through things. So I think it's when you're addicted to a certain app or a certain, I don't know, like Facebook, Instagram, to the point where it's kind of affecting your everyday life. you kind of are constantly checking your phone, are kind of worried what people are going to post about you, or what people are commenting about you, or how many likes you have on your photo. So when those concerns start to take over your life and you start to mold your life in a way kind of to suit others so that people can see us different way on social media, I think that's when you kind of start to develop the addiction, because you're trying to please people on social media rather than focusing on people, on your situation in real life.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I would have to agree. I mean, like, I think we've all been there where, like, I'm going to bed another 2 or 3 hours, whatever. And, but yeah, addiction, you know, it's like when your life revolves around, for example, like social media, you know, you can't go a couple of hours without checking to see what that person's posted, how your posts are doing, if they're getting comments, likes, and so on. If someone shared a story or whatever, you know, all that stuff, and you need to be constantly updated on what is happening around you and updating others on what you're doing, you know. So
the constant post of,
yeah, exactly. Oh,
I had pancakes for breakfast today. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, like myself, I don't really do that. I mean, like, especially, you know, there's some hardcore people like, oh yeah, I'm eating this, I'm going there, I'm going to bed at 10 and so, and blah blah blah, all that stuff, you know. And you know, I'm like, yo, who wants to hear that stuff, you know? But like, you know, it's just it's not one of my personal preferences.
Yeah. So basically, social media addiction is pretty much what you guys have described. Is, in simpler terms, is the excessive use of social media. So you're basically on your phone constantly scrolling, and like you say, you know, to the point where it affects your daily life. It affects what you're doing. It affects, you know, how you're behaving, how you're communicating with people as well. So that is pretty much what social media addiction is in a short form. And right now, as we're speaking, you know, social media users are now spending an average of 2 hours and 24 minutes per day online. So now you may think that's not a lot, you know. You have about, let's calculate, you have like about 6 hours of sleep on average, right? The other hours, 7 hours of you working, either doing work in uni, but you're spending 2 hours of that time being on social media. Now, if you think about what you're doing throughout the day, this is your time to relax. You're on a break, you're unwinding. Now, people, for them to unwind is them being online on social media. That's how they unwind. It's no longer like, oh, let me take a nap, let me lie down, let me go for a walk, let me do this. It's actually, let me sit on my couch and actually just go through my phone. Now you see, like, now the time where you're supposed to be unwinding, you're using that time to take in more information. So there's never a break. You never give your brain a break.
Yeah, I think that's quite relatable, because we find it like when I'm at work and then you finish, like it's time for your lunch or to go on your break, you'd rather sit in a room alone on your phone rather than be with people. Someone comes in and sits with you and start talking, you're like,
right
now I have to talk to this person. So you put your phone down and you're trying to, when you just want to sit there and scroll. So I do kind of see how that can be an issue, because you de-associate yourself. Is that what de-associate? Yeah, I think so. De-associate yourself with the world, and then you just kind of want to be involved in basically your phone, in what people are doing online, rather than actually building that experience in real life.
So there's no, I think social media has become our new reality almost, and whether we like it or not, we're like in this box and we're being sucked into it so much. And then more and more people are literally like, you know, joining social media. Actually, stats show that more than half of the world now use social media. More than half of the world actually are logged on a social media platform account. 4.5 billion people around the world now use the internet, and of these users, 346 million new users have come online in the past 12 months. So this is 2020.
Damn.
So this is during the lockdown. So during the lockdown, that many people have actually come online. That many people have actually got a social media app. Because we know with the lockdown and everything, we've all been in our houses, we're not doing anything, interacting with people. The only other way you could interact with someone is
on social media.
On social media. So now more people are actually online now than before. What do you think of those stats? Like, is that a bit shocking?
I think it is quite it's like it's fascinating and shocking at the same time, because you can see how like the world is becoming more connected, which is the perk of social media. You can just pick up a phone and talk to someone across the world and all that stuff, but you can also see that there's no control, there's no methods on kind of how to stop people from using social media. You don't see people running campaigns and like, oh, use less of this so you can, they're like trying to push this social media into your face to the point where you have no choice, or you feel like you need to have one for you to fit in.
Yeah.
So it's quite fascinating that it's far reaching than I originally thought.
Yeah, like loads of people are on it now than ever more, especially in the past couple of months because of the lockdown, which is quite interesting. And also another study has shown that, so they did a study of 750 young people between the ages of 13 to 17, and they found out that 97% of those were actually using social media. They're actively using social media. And that's pretty insane, meaning like from the ages of 13, like kids at the age of 13, they already have Instagram, TikTok, everything else.
What I'm hearing from this, I need to invest in some social media apps. I need to start buying up some stock.
Stock. But yeah, pretty much it's crazy that, more young people on a daily basis are joining Instagram. And I remember before when Facebook first came out, they needed to ask whether you're, I think, what was the age limit?
It was like 12 or something.
12, yeah. So and then to use it, you needed your parental permission to actually get an account. I don't think it's the case.
No, I don't think it's anymore. No.
Is it a case anymore? No, I don't think it's a case anymore. Like whether you can, whether a child will need parental permission to actually get a TikTok, get an Instagram, because now you're finding kids ages of 11 having a TikTok, and TikTok is like one of those things like you can literally see anything, just about anything on it. Yeah. There's no filters or anything like that, so it's a bit scary. So, have you guys ever heard of phantom vibration syndrome? Do you know what that is?
No, I have no idea.
You don't know what that is? Okay, I only found out just a couple of weeks ago either as well. But phantom vibration actually is when you feel like as though your phone is vibrating when it's not. Have you guys ever felt that? Like either you hear ping or something, or you feel like your phone is vibrating, but it's actually not.
Yeah,
I think
felt
so,
it.
maybe, yeah.
When you're waiting for that text from someone, anything is your phone vibrating, sending out the risky text, and then you're just like waiting for a reply. You're just like, oh, I think that's it. You're like, no, it's nothing.
So apparently, like we've become so attached to our phones that they've literally become part of us. That even when your phone is far off you, you almost feel like this sense of attachment to it. That you will think or feel as though your phone is vibrating when it's actually not. Yeah. So I just want to ask as well, like, so now talking about social media addiction and how that is affecting us and young people, and how it plays a major impact on how we socialize and our mental health as well. I kind of want to ask exactly like, how would you define social media addiction in terms of mental health? You think social media addiction or the use or the excessive use of social media is actually affecting the mentality or affecting the mental health of young people now, even adults itself?
Yeah, I think it has like a massive role to play, just because, I mean, it's such a big part of our lives nowadays, and especially with the lockdown, everything is online. Everything is on social media, even before, you can access nearly everything, and everybody's got it, easy access, and we spend so much time that it's not anymore something like a recreational thing, as it maybe was before. Now it's just a habit, you just pick up your phone, start scrolling, and then just... Mm-hmm. It's sometimes it's not even like conscious, it's like, it's because you're like programmed to do, you have nothing else to do. You pick up your phone and start scrolling, you see what else is happening, what to post, and so on. And especially now with the kids as well, as you mentioned, with the early ages from like 13 and even younger, I think, just because there's anyone can sign up, anyone can do it, it's and I think those type of ages, especially at 13, is like is crucial, because if you teach someone from these early ages to do something like that, it will get ingrained in their mind, and it's gonna be more dangerous than if someone were to have like started later on,
Yeah.
So.
And really speaking of that, like, it really saddens me. I think this is just my personal opinion, when I see people getting their kids, babies from a young age already in front of a camera. Literally, like, from when they're born, they've been exposed online. What they're wearing, what they like, everything on my babies. I guess fair enough, because the parent is very excited. They want, to show their child off to, a wider range of people. But it's really saddening to see that from a very young age, kids are now already becoming, at 3, 4, 5, they're now becoming YouTubers. Like, why is a child that is 5 years old becoming a YouTuber? Or why are they having to, why are you putting them in front of the cameras at such an early age? And, they will start experiencing withdrawal symptoms if they're trying to get off it, because you guys, you're scientists, you guys gym as well as everything else. So you know what dopamine is.
Yeah.
Right? So now, speaking of reasons why social media is so addictive, so when you use social media excessively, your dopamine levels increase. And when those dopamine levels increase, you then are somewhat where I wouldn't say forced, but you become inclined to using it more and more. And research has actually shown that the behavior of somebody that is using a lot of social media is similar to that of somebody that is using drugs. Yeah, it's literally, they've studied that, and there's no difference between that. It's literally similar. And when they are trying to come off social media, you experience the same withdrawal symptoms as somebody that is withdrawing from taking drugs. Yeah. It's literally the same thing. And I was really shocked, because he has me thinking, I'm not affecting myself, I'm not affecting my brain at all in any sort of way, because I'm not taking drugs, I'm good. But then again, I'm getting the same symptoms as somebody that is, just because I'm on my phone.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a scary fact to think about it, that social media has that much of a grasp on us as people mentally as well. Because I think, Adi, you mentioned about like kind of social media reaching out to everyone. It's kind of so widespread, and Chloe touched on about like how social media is kind of, when from a young age kids are exposed to like phones and all that stuff. You see, like most children, like they will cry for a phone rather than a toy these days, because they want to either take picture. That's something you see now happening more and more often, and it is kind of scary, because they're now growing up with that sort of mentality that whatever this device is, I need to have it, and I need to be on it, because that's where everything is. And the fact that it's so accessible to us, like it's just a click away, it's not ideal, and you need to find a way to control yourself. Another thing, when you're talking about like the dangers of social media and mental health especially, I was starting to think about, like, because you're on social media and it's kind of a wide platform, the more it has its perks where you're able to connect with everyone, but then everyone at the same time is able to connect with you, and not everyone has the nicest thing to say about you. And you see, like, especially younger teenagers and all that stuff, they're exposed to so much hate out there. You see people have committed suicide because of what someone said online. Someone is on the other side of the world, on the other side of screen, typing in hateful comments on your picture, on your thing. There's no necessarily any filter. Even though you have to delete it, you've already read it, and you can see like, 200 and something people have liked this person's comment, and they're calling my head looks like a chicken, or something like a chicken head. And to you, it may be funny, but that person is going to take it seriously. It's not something that I've necessarily been exposed to if they weren't on social media. Yeah, so that's one of the dangers of social media. Like, you're connecting with so many people, and not all those people have your best interest at heart. Yeah. And the more you use it, the more you start to seek approval from these people online. Exactly. And once these people online don't give you the approval, you're going to feel like worthless. And
like you're not good enough.
You're not good enough, and that's going to lead you into like a spiral of mental health problems. You
start feeling a bit depressed or anxious to even post a photo. Because I mean, I watched this video on Instagram, and it was kind of showing exactly what happens when people are using social media. Actually, no, I watched it on YouTube, and it was an ad, actually, a full-on ad that was out there, and they showed different groups of people. So there was this one couple, the girl walks in the house, and they're just arguing and annoyed, and they're not talking to each other. Comes in a time, they're not talking to each other. She pulls out her phone, takes a picture with her partner, and then they're looking so happy. And then literally after taking the photo, she sits and she's not talking to him, and posts and say, yeah, dinner time with the one I love. They're literally not talking to each other. And then it's literally, so they're basically showing that, whatever you see online is not what the reality is. Social media and like online platforms are there for us to show the best parts of our lives. That's the whole point. If my face is full of I don't look the greatest, chances are I'm not going to be posting nothing. I'll go through all the effort of doing my hair, doing everything else for me to look presentable enough to then post my photo. And then which brings me up on this statement. Have you guys heard of social media currency?
No.
Okay, so basically people have compared, they've sort of talked about likes, messages, comments and shares as a social media currency. So when you post your photo, so you're posting your photo and more people like it, so you have your product, you put your product out there on social media, which is a photo of you, a photo of your work or whatever thing you like. People like it, and now once people like it, they're gonna share, they're going to comment, they're going to say the nicest things, they're going to send it to other people. Now you're getting paid, you're getting rewarded.
You're selling yourself, yeah.
For what you posted.
Selling yourself.
Selling your product. So basically you are your product, yeah? So now that you see that people like it more, they like your market, likes your product, what does that do? You put more on the shelf. There's more for you to offer. There's more for you to give out because people are reacting with it in such a positive way. So now social media has become that sort of way that we use it to receive rewards from people. So the more photos you put there, the nicer they are, the more rewards you're likely to receive. And when you're rewarded, it gets you to post more and more. Now look at it on the flip side where nobody interacts with your posts. You've taken time out, you've taken like 20 photos, sat down choosing the perfect photo with the perfect angle. Your skin's like looking awesome, you're it. You're looking great, right? And you choose this one photo, put the filters, eyebrows on flick, hair on flick, edges on flick, everything is just looking amazing. You post it there and you feel good about yourself. Put it on social media, you get 2 likes, you get 3 likes, maybe nobody comments. Maybe somebody says something bad about you. What's that going to do? It's going to then create, because that reward you're looking for on social media, you're not getting it anymore. Then it creates you to take down that post. Now you're going to go through the spiral of doing more so that you can receive the reward even more. And now that's where the problem actually comes. Well, how do you then deal with the situation whereby, hold up, I'm actually not that popular online? And should that actually really affect you and your everyday life? Because you not being popular online, that literally moves from online to your reality. Yeah. So that's exactly where the main issue would lie. So how would you exactly deal with a situation like that? Whereby you realize people don't really like me like that online, or people don't interact with my photos like that online, but your friends are getting like 300 likes, how many shares, and your photo only has like 20 likes.
From your family.
And all from your family, or from your cousins. It's so painful though. Like when you post that photo and your cousin from like Uganda likes it and shares it, but your friends don't, and you're like, you're online, you're my friends, why you not sharing?
Because now you're questioning your friends, like, I like your stuff, you don't like my stuff.
What's happening?
So I think it's a multi-dimensional problem that you can't kind of pinpoint that this is the issue. There's so many factors that fall into social media addiction and mental health, that if something like that was to happen, you need to really start to reevaluate kind of your life and what you think is important. If getting likes from random strangers or from people is important to you, rather than actually finding someone in real life you can talk to, then you start to think maybe there is a problem in that, and you need to kind of try and correct it. My suggestion, personally, anyway, for me, I think folks that know me I only have like WhatsApp and YouTube.
And Reddit.
And Reddit sometimes. Sometimes I don't use it that much, but that's as much social media as I have. And the reason that I chose to have that is because at one point I was there scrolling through Facebook, and I found myself scrolling for so long through Facebook and looking at all these people living their life. I'm like, why isn't my life like that? I found myself really starting to compare myself to these people online, even though I didn't know these people. And I was like, I want to live like this. I want to be on the beach. I want to be traveling. I want to be here. Yeah. And I found myself like it was spurring up emotions that I didn't think I thought I would feel over social media and online. So I was like, I took a decision myself to kind of just like withdraw from there. And it's not something that happened like that. Something that I done gradually, where it's like, let me stop going online this much. This is actually causing me to feel like this. I acknowledge that's how it's making me feel. I was like, the best action is to remove myself. And slowly, I managed to get rid of that and value my actual life in real life rather than comparing myself online.
But to add on to that as well, as you were saying, like, also, I don't know if it's happened, like it's happened to me as well, when I used to have like more like social media accounts and I was on different ones, and like, well, you sit, for example, let's say through Facebook, you sit there, I don't know, half an hour or for 40 minutes, and then you're done with Facebook, but then, well, you need to go to Instagram as well. You need to check out what's Instagram, you know? Like, yo, what's up there, you know? Like, and then you finish with Instagram, then you go to Snapchat. Wait, who tagged me in that? Or like, I even forgot how it goes. Like,
it's funny because you have the same people on your Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat.
It's basically the same thing, but then you need to go to TikTok or like, and then so on. But, you know, like, everybody like seeks validation, you know, as you were, you know, and we want to know, like, from other people that, we're part of that group as well, you know, you're doing what we're doing, so that's good, you know. But, you know, conscious or not, we're trying to get validation from others as well, and then we act accordingly to what we think we should like be doing as best, you know. But, you know, as you were speaking earlier, some people get rewarded for what they post, some don't, you know, and like obviously when you're not rewarded as you think you should, then you get frustrated. Why, you know, like, why is this person getting so much attention and I'm not, you know? And you know, we're always trying to compare sometimes ourselves to other people, you know. Am I that good? Am I that good looking? I don't know. Am I doing what he's doing, saying, and so on, thinking?
Adi, you are good looking.
No.
Just to put it out there.
Some validation.
No.
It's needed. You have to do it in reality.
You have to do it in real life.
Not just on Instagram. People are quick to compliment you online. I don't see people giving me fire emojis in real life. You got what I mean, right? But like,
and obviously when you're not trying to, like, when you're not getting that validation, over and over again, you know, accentuates even further, you know. So it's a vicious like circle. You don't want to like involve yourself too much in it, because then you get hooked, you know, and you're not only wasting like your mental resources, but like also your time as well. So it's which is not worth it.
Because what social media has done, especially to young people now, we have a low attention span, because so much information is being put to us. Literally, what you're doing is scrolling, and as you're scrolling, you're getting literally so much information from different things. So we now have low attention spans. You wouldn't really sit there and read a book for that long. It's boring. It's not stimulating you the way you want to be stimulated, because we get so much stimulation from, you know, being on social media. Now, something that is somewhat educational is no longer stimulating your brain. Something that is, you know, spiritual is no longer stimulating you anymore, because you want stimulation from different sources, from different people. Because if you don't like this post, you're going to go to a different person's page. Whereas for a book, you're not going to skip to the end of the book to read. Like, you have to go through the story. So it's really affected us and how we react to reality, and how our brains function on a day-to-day basis.
As you mentioned as well, like everything, since we have that low attention span, like we want something quick at that moment, you know, that boost of dopamine, as you mentioned. And then from like reading or researching or something, you're just saying there and then like you're falling asleep or whatever, you know. You don't have time for that, but you want something quick.
Quick to stimulate you.
Exactly. And then you're done with it, you know, and then you move on.
You move on to something else. So looking at that on mental health as well, and more young people now are getting depressed and getting a bit of anxiety from using social media, and it is something that has to be addressed. And for those that do not, I wouldn't say self-diagnose yourself, you know, obviously that's what it means, but you know, you yourself as a person, you have to be able to discriminate and say, oh, hold up, am I online for too long? How much time do I spend online? Because now there's no use of telling people, stop using social media. There's no point. It's horrible. It's bad. No, there's no point, because now we are living in an age whereby that's our reality. That's what we do. Now they think the issue is now it is out there. We know it's there, but how do we use it now? This is a good resource we've been given. How do we use those resources? Now it's about you as an individual, looking at yourself and looking at the time you're spending online and how you spend that time online and what you do online. Because it's not only about, okay, I need validation or I need to post good photos, but it's also how do you treat other people online? Because the reason why people have depression, anxiety online is because you as an individual have a part to play in that. What do you comment? What do you say on people's photos? So if we're supposed to be our brother's keepers, you know, I'm your brother's keeper, whether you're Christian or not, whether I know you or not, I'm my brother's keeper. What I do or what I say online is extremely important, that I do not, you know, allow somebody else to fall mentally, spiritually, or physically at all because of my activity online. So what other ways do you think would be good for us to control? Though we know social media is not going anywhere, it's here to stay. So what else would you say that we as individuals using social media, how should we react and how should we behave online? Does our behavior matter?
I think yeah, as Christians, as a Christian anyway, I think your behavior matters wherever you are. So whether you're meeting someone in person, or whether you're behind the screen and no one can see you or know who you are, you're going under some crazy name so that no one knows who you are, your behavior still matters. And you need to kind of act accordingly. As you said, you're your brother's keepers. We're meant to look after each other, help each other grow spiritually, mentally, and kind of physically as well. So what you say needs to be something that's going to build someone up. So even though if the one aspect I live by, if you have nothing good to say, don't say it at all. Just keep it to yourself. So if you're going to post something or going to comment something on someone's picture, let it be something that's going to build that person up rather than tear them down. So I think that's one small thing you can do to help in social media.
Yeah, I would just have to agree with yourself. And just one thing that I was thinking over, like, while we were discussing, is just instead of letting social media use social media for the best, you know, because that's what ends up happening. Instead of us just using it, we end up letting it use us, you know. We're like deteriorating, and instead of us benefiting from it, you know.
So it's almost like, you know, you control social media. Social media shouldn't control you.
Exactly.
That's pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, don't allow social media to control you as a person, and you need to be very, you know, discriminating of yourself. And some of the ways you can know that you are addicted to social media is, you know, you are seeking validation. You're spending hours of your free time where you can give your brain time to relax. You're spending that time online. It's affecting how you communicate with people one-on-one. People nowadays find it very difficult to even, you know, have conversations. It's easy to speak to a stranger online. In reality, that is not going to happen. You're just awkward. You're just like, oh, I don't know what to do. It's affected how we interact with one another. So that's one way of you seeing whether, oh, am I becoming addicted or am I addicted? So now, and also you're looking for, you know, social media currency, the likes, the messages, the shares. Is that why you post your photos? Do you sometimes just post photos because I like this, I'm going to put it out there? Or do you post it knowing like, I want more likes, more this, I want more validation, I want that social media currency. And when you don't receive it, how do you behave? How do you feel? And if it's something that you feel horrible, you feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, then maybe there's an issue around there. So these are all different ways on how you can tell whether you are becoming addicted to social media, or whether you need to back off a little bit. And also we talk about like our spirituality. A lot of us spend more time on our phones online than we actually do read the Word of God. We don't watch what we see, what we put in our brains. We don't watch what we actually see online. It's just we are there. It's literally like a mind-numbing activity. That's literally what you can just literally be there, like scrolling through, double tap on your main feed. It's so mind-numbing. You're just doing it without even noticing you're doing it. There are times whereby I spend like 20 minutes on Instagram, and I was like, did I spend that much time just scrolling through feeds? Like seriously, and I felt so horrible. I'm like, I can't believe I just wasted 20 to 30 minutes of me just doing that.
Yeah.
And I could tell that my brain was just non-functioning. Now I'm realizing my brain is not functioning that way to its full capacity as much as it used to because of me being on social media.
Yeah. Before, I just want to add on for us to remember that these things are designed to be addictive.
Yeah.
So there's no one there in Facebook that's just like, let's design something to control them so that they want you to be on the platform as long as you can.
Yeah.
So they're designed to be addictive. So the reason people are getting addictive, because that's the product. The product's meant to draw you in. So it's something to keep in mind that, although I'm using this, it's going to be a lot of features that are made to draw me in there and keep me on this.
You there.
So we just need to be aware of that if I say this, like, if most of social media is free, so if a product is free, you are the product. You are the product. So they need you to be there because you are the product. So you need to kind of
getting your money
that.
from you.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not just for you are the product. So
what you're paying them is your time and your data.
Yeah. And your data, yeah.
That's pretty much. So there's a verse I wanted to read, which comes from Luke chapter 11 verse 34, which says, "The eye is the lamp of your body. When your eye is clear, the whole body also is full of light. But when it is bad, the body also is full of darkness." So I like this verse specifically because it says, the eye is the lamp of the body. What you see, especially online. So if what you're seeing is full of light, your body will be full of light. But if not, then it's full of darkness. And that's where you see people reacting so negatively or getting anxiety or depression over like using social media, because these things are affecting them in that way. So you as a person, as an individual, even what you're watching online, you need to watch that, because what you put in eventually comes out. And sometimes you don't notice it. You may see the results 5 years from now. Maybe it's not in the moment, but 5 years later, you may see the results now. So I really want to thank you guys for joining, and thank you our users for joining us on this talk about social media addiction. And I pray honestly that if you are struggling with social media addiction, there is tons of help out there for you. And there's ways on how you can control how you are perceived online and how you post your stuff online, but also how much time you spend online. So it's important that we learn that we can control social media instead of social media controlling us. Thank you for watching.